steadfast faith. Each of us present today has been blessed by Brian in a special way. And so we come together to share our memories and to celebrate Brian's life. So I honor Brian in his soul's continuing journey, and we offer our prayers and blessings to his family and friends, so that in addition to God's embrace, they may feel enfolded in each other's strength and love. So let's take a moment now and pray. Heavenly Spirit, we are prayerfully gathered here on this day to celebrate the life, both worldly and eternal, of one who was loved dearly. Brian has blessed each of us who are present in many ways and will live in our hearts forever. We have many memories of Brian, and we take a moment now to bring some of those special memories to mind. And we ask for your special blessing on Brian's extended and local family and his friends. And we take this opportunity now to experience a new relationship with this loving man, a relationship born in spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit and great Comforter, for your loving presence. We release Brian into your gentle care. And so it is. Amen. Well, Vita told me that Brian liked to call himself a Christian Buddhist, which might sound a little strange or funny even to some. Yet I've met many people who meld the teachings of the two traditions because they recognize that the underlying principles of the two traditions are complementary. And it's my privilege to invite Joel Ferguson up here to talk to us a little bit about what the Buddhists believe about life and death.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Vita, thank you for asking me to speak today. It's the first time I've ever spoken to people who are sitting in a bar. He's spoken about Buddhism, but I'm happy to be here. I just want to let you know now that we've started, you can relax and enjoy everything there is to enjoy. But I got to ask you, is this pot? The smoke coming out of it? I was hoping it was. I'll be relaxed after a few minutes. But it's my pleasure to speak to you about the Buddhist concept of life and death, and I'll be using this book called Unlocking the Secrets of Life and Death and Everything in Between. So basically Buddhism describes death as more like waking and sleeping. Just like we go to sleep at night, and then when we wake up in the morning, hopefully we're revived if we had a good night's sleep, but we might not have had a good night's sleep. We might have had an upset stomach or a headache. So the Buddhism teaches that whatever life condition we are in at the moment of death is the life condition that we will be reborn into this world. And we also have the choice to be reborn where and when and with whom we would like to be reborn. So someone, I spoke at a memorial a couple of weeks ago, and they were asking us, like, well, can you explain like death and life in a way we can understand it? So in the 8th grade, most of us had science and physics, and they talked about the cycle of water. And so if you can imagine the ocean, it's all water there, but little to our visible knowledge, it's evaporating up into the air. So there's two phases of death. There's the manifest or the visible stage, and there's the latent or the invisible stage of life. So in Buddhism, there is only life. There is no death. It's just a transformation from one state to another. So here's the water, it evaporates, and it's invisible. So you can kind of say that's what death is. But then it goes up, and once it gets up in the air, it cools off, and it kind of gets a little bit more solid. It's still a gas, but it collects with other molecules of H2O, and then it forms clouds. And then eventually the clouds get big enough, and it rains back down to the earth. So that is the kind of the best way to describe the Buddhist concept of life and death. I'm just wondering what, oh, okay. I thought maybe I was on video or something. So there is the concept of there's only life in every aspect. And in the universe is, there's only life, there's only energy, and there's only love. So we get used to having people around us. And so when all of a sudden they're gone, it feels like we've lost them. But in reality, they're still with us in all of our thoughts, our memories. And, you know, I've lost both of my parents, but I still talk to them. Occasionally, I kind of feel like I'm getting a message from them, but I have had the experience of actually having an encounter with my cousin and with another friend who had passed away, and we actually had a conversation right here, just like this. It was in my bedroom, but so this feeling that we get, sometimes we feel like somebody's near us, and the reality is they are, because we never are away from the people that we love, and they're never away from us. As we progress in our life, we know a lot more people, and we have so many different encounters. And what we experience is the potential of love with other people. I wanted to read a little bit from this book. In some schools of Buddhism, attaining nirvana implies that we stop going from birth to death, that we just kind of, once we die, we're dead, and that's all that happens. But the reality of life is that we are here to help people who are suffering. Now, sometimes we're suffering, and so the people around us are there to help us to not suffer. But our mission is to be someone who helps make the world a better place. And we encounter people like Brian, that he does that. And we, because of encountering people like him, we actually learn how to do the same thing. Some people we learn, I sure as hell don't want to be like them. But some people we learn, wow, I just wish that I could be like him or her more. So this quote that's on there, on this the brochure, really touched me. I'm a musician myself, but is this Brian's quote, that there is music in the universe now, it's just if you just stop and listen? Is that, I kind of thought that. And when I read that, something came to me that I wanted to add to it, that there is always love in the universe if we just give it, and there's always life in the universe if we just live it. And so I wanted to close with asking each one of us here today if we can take the spirit of Brian and live with his spirit, his joy of living, his wonderful ideas, the things, the way that he made people feel. If we can take that spirit and live that, then we will never be away from or apart from Brian. So I'd like to challenge or encourage each of us to take the spirit of Brian with us and live with that. And let's go see what good we can do in the world. Thank you.
Oh.
Now, I would like to invite Vita and Journey if she'd like to. But Vita,